Before I came to the US, I always thought that credit cards were bad and that they will lead you to an eventual debt. In some ways, I still believe that that is true, but only if you're not responsible with your spending. In today's video, I'll tell you the story of how I applied for my first 2 credit cards. I've told this story countless times over the years to my friends that are interested in getting their first credit card as an international student, and today I'll share that story with you. If you're new here, like and subscribe, and also check out my recent video about the 10 credit cards that I use as an international student if you want to see how my entire credit card collection looks like. This story here starts about 4 years ago. I was in my second semester at ASU and I made some friends and started hanging out with them more often and saw that they were using credit cards to pay for things. And I started doing some research about credit cards in the US by myself, and that ended up spiraling to several months of Googling and watching videos on YouTube about credit cards. And yeah, there's this whole niche around the internet about credit cards. Heck, there's even an entire subreddit with over 200,000 members that is dedicated to maximizing credit card applications. I'll leave some links for websites and YouTube channels that I viewed right below that like button, so check them out if you're interested in expanding your knowledge about credit cards here in the United States. After all that research, I finally decided to apply for my first credit card. At that point in time, I've already had a social security number that I got through an on-campus teaching assistant job that I had. But one important thing that I did not have is a credit score from a credit bureau like Equifax or Experience due to my lack of credit history from a lender such as a bank. And if you read an article or two about applying for credit cards without any credit score at all, you will know that you should first either become an authorized user of someone else's credit card or apply for a secured credit card to build up your credit. For those of you wondering, a secured credit card is basically like a debit card that helps you build up your credit score. But lucky for me, I had a friend that had first-hand experience of applying for credit cards as an international student. He said, and I quote, "You should apply for the Discover credit card, max it out and pay the credit card in full each month for 4 to 6 months, and then you will have a decent enough credit score to apply for a Chase credit card." And you know what? I did exactly that, minus the maxing out the credit card every month. Yeah, about that advice, my friend said there. You can do everything he said, but don't max out your credit card. Only spend the money that you have. So if you only budgeted $300 every month, you can only spend $300 every month on your credit card. So yeah. Going back to the story, at that point in time, I already had a social security number, but I had no credit score. But that didn't stop me from continuing my plans. With that confidence that I received from my friend's advice or wise words there, I applied for the Discover a credit card on the Discover website. As part of the application, I had to fill in information like my name, social security number, and my income. For my income, I listed the money that my parents gave me for my living expenses here in the US, and then I clicked the submit button. The page loaded for a while, and soon after, a message showed up on the screen. It was something in the lines of, "We had received your application and will respond by mail in 7 to 10 days. And if you know a thing or two about credit card applications here in the US, the 7 to 10 day message usually means a rejection. From watching a lot of YouTube videos, I knew a rejection was coming my way, so I just waited patiently for that letter to come. Meanwhile, in that same week, I went to a Bank of America branch to open a savings account, and while I was there, the banker tried to sell me one of their credit cards by showing me the range of credit cards that Bank of America had to offer. And based on the name of this video, you know what I did next. Yes, I ended up applying for the Bank of America Cash Rewards credit card there at the branch. I had to verbally fill in the form with the banker. It was the same information that I provided for the Discover credit card application. But additionally, I also had to provide my passport and Form I-20 to the banker for identity verification. Good thing I had those in hand, as I also needed those documents for opening the savings account. And within a minute of her typing in all the information into the computer, she told me that my application has been approved with a credit limit of $1,000, and the credit card will be mailed to my mailing address within 7 to 10 business days. I was pretty excited, to say the least, at that point in time. And yeah, that was my first credit card approval. In some ways, the Bank of America Cash Rewards credit card is my first credit card, but I've always seen it as my second credit card, as the fact is still that I applied for the Discover 8 credit card first. Speaking of the Discover card, I received the letter in my mailbox a few days later, and to my surprise, it wasn't a rejection letter. The letter asked for me to provide some documents before the application can be fully processed. The documents that they requested is a copy of my social security card and 2 photo IDs, one with an address and one that included my name. I used my driver's license and my student ID for that. So I sent the documents through email and I proceeded to call the Discover number that was listed on the letter. I was pretty anxious at that time. I just wanted to know if I got rejected or got approved. And once I called, I got connected to a representative pretty quickly and told the person that I have sent the documents through email, and I asked to have my application reviewed on the spot. And the representative put me on hold. And a side note here, out of all the banks and credit card companies that I've had to call up over the years, Discover's customer service line is really the best. It really is like how they describe it in their advertisements. You do get directly routed to an actual person when you call the number, opposed to being routed to an automated system from like any other bank that you call basically. But back to the story, after being put on hold briefly, I don't remember it being long, just a few minutes from what I recall, the representative came back to me to congratulate me that my Discovery credit card was approved with a credit limit of $1,750 and that I will receive the card in the mail within 3 to 5 days. And that there is a story of how I applied for my first 2 credit cards as an international student with no credit history at all. I hope that this story was interesting to you, and if you thought that applying for 2 credit cards was exciting, wait till you hear about my story of how I applied for not 2, not 3, but 4 Chase credit cards in the span of just 3 months. Like this video and let me know down in the comments if you want me to make that video. And yeah, that is all for today's video. Let me know down in the comments section what was your experience like when you applied for your very first credit card. Did you face any difficulties like I did with my Discovery credit card, or were you instantly approved? Lastly, if you found this video useful or interesting, do me a favor and smash that like button until it turns blue and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos like this.